Good morning, subscribers, and welcome to AMC Lawsuit and Justice, Project Popcorn, The Scheme. Quick update. Last night at approximately 7:53 p.m. Eastern Time, I spoke by telephone with Ann Vandersteel for over 16 minutes. During our conversation, I thanked her for hosting the January 12th, 2026 press conference and for continuing to shine light on what occurred within the MMTLP community, events that constitute a profound miscarriage of justice affecting more than 65,000 retail investors. I explained to Ann that the AMC shareholder community is now beyond fractured, having become deeply divided and in many respects compromised by misinformation, conflicted interest, and coordinated narratives that obscure material facts. I emphasize that this division has severely undermined accountability and allowed misconduct to persist largely unchecked. I further brought to her attention that AMC CEO Adam Aron is a bad actor and is complicit with AMC insiders, Citigroup, Riley Financial, DF King, Antara, the NYSE, and other market participants in a coordinated scheme known as Project Popcorn. I explained that this scheme involved the manipulation of equity issuances, corporate actions, and shareholder communications in a manner that disadvantaged retail investors while benefiting institutions that were naked short and insiders who front-ran the scheme and sold shares based on insider information. I also notified Ms. Ann that I filed multiple Freedom of Information Act FOIA requests with the SEC. These include an initial FOIA request seeking disclosure of the cost incurred by the SEC to produce and disseminate the so-called pie-in-the-face videos, which many retail investors who viewed it as mocking and dismissive. For those who may not recall, these videos cost us taxpayers over $500,000 to produce. So here's my FOIA request. As you can see, I filed it with the SEC on June 2nd, or they acknowledged it on June 2nd, 2022, and it was actually filed on June 1st. I asked for all records regarding Investor Media meme stocks, and here's the video, one of the three that they produced. So it was called Investor Media, and if you guys recall, a pie was thrown on the face on that actor with the orange hair. So I'll play it for 30 seconds. In addition, I gave Ann notice that I filed subsequent FOIA requests seeking all documents, communications, and records related to AMC, including records reflecting how many AMC shares were actually in circulation on January 27, 2021, as distinct from the number of shares officially reported as outstanding at that time. One of my FOIA requests, the SEC invoked law enforcement as a reason why not to produce it and give it to me, and that was a couple years ago. I gave her notice about that. I also advised Ann Vandersteel that these issues are supported by documentary evidence, including sworn affidavits, discovery materials, and regulatory records, not speculation. Following our discussion, I emailed her the statement of facts we prepared, along with the Daniel Meyer transmittal affidavit and its accompanying exhibits, so she could independently review the timelines, internal communication, and supporting evidence. For those who haven't looked over or don't know what we're talking about with regards to the Daniel Meyer affidavit, you can go to google.com. Type in keywords Daniel Meyer transmittal affidavit. You will find it at Bernstein, Litowitz and Berger and Grossman LLP. Also, AMC still saving it on their website, as well as the other law firm that allegedly represented us, Grant Eisenhofer. So let's go to Bernstein, Litowitz, Berger and Grossman, hit the hyperlink. This is the affidavit. As you can see up here, it's 928 pages, and it's called the Daniel Meyer transmittal affidavit. You have headers, exhibit number, the Bates range, and the exhibit description. It goes all the way down to 37. And then if you continue to scroll, you will go through the affidavits if you want. We put together a playlist of 21 videos. I highly recommend you checking it out, you go to our channel, you go to playlist, and here you have the Daniel Meyer Transmittal Affidavit series. And then finally, I shared my view with Ann Vandersteel on how to make meaningful reform, and that requires decisive legal and civic action. I explained that 2 concrete steps could lead to sweeping systemic change. She's actually familiar with this because a friend of mine from high school actually held a space call on Twitter, and the subject matter was citizen-initiated grand jury petition. So I brought it back to our attention that if that is ever codified, both on the federal and state level, things will change. And what that means is, for those who are not familiar with our judicial system, currently, or in 6 other states actually, initiated grand jury petitions do exist, but it's not codified on the federal level. What that means is, in a state like New York, only the government has discretion to actually prosecute someone. So what this citizen-initiated grand jury petition allows is now discretion will come back to the people. So, for example, we wanted to indict hedge funds or anybody in New York or other states. For example, Adam Aron and insiders. We impanel a grand jury. We do the same thing what a prosecutor would do. We would present evidence, or we would ask for subpoenas and present evidence to the grand jury. And if they come back with a true bill, that person gets indicted and we move forward. Right now, why we have issues and nothing gets going in this country is because discretion is only in the government's hands, and you know who's placed there that protects these bad actors. And then the second would be the filing of writ of mandamus, and I've been harping on this. I'm just waiting for someone to take the baton. Hopefully, when I spoke to Ann Vandersteel, hopefully she takes it, and she said she'll speak to her group of attorneys. A writ of mandamus is required, and maybe she does it with MMTLP, and she files a petition with the federal court and petitions the court, and the respondent would be the SEC. And the relief she would be seeking is for the SEC to enforce securities law. And what she's asking is for the judge to issue an order instructing the SEC to enforce securities law. And if they don't, we could come back to the table and go back to court and have them held in contempt of court. So it piqued her interest. She said she's going to run it by her attorneys. Let's see what happens. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully we'll have more by the end of the month or the beginning of February. Anyway, have a great day. Good night. Or have a great day. Bye.